Breathe. Release. Well, another video. I wanted to say thank you to all you guys out there leaving comments that are finding these videos helpful, and I had a lovely comment from somebody on my last one saying that they so look forward to turning on their internet and there's a new video. And I remember going through mountains of DVDs, even VCRs, like we had to rewind the tape back when I was doing my transformation, looking for ones that I hadn't seen before by either master teacher Charles Anderson, who's now passed from the realm, or my teacher Ted, who's now passed from the realm, leaving only me and whoever comes with me, which is pretty much all you guys. But I remember looking for all those videos, looking for new videos. Like, I had such a thirst or such an appetite for mind training, like anything that could help me to see the action of my mind more clearly, help me to understand where I was going wrong and getting fucked up results of my thinking, you know, like self-sabotage, like yesterday's video. And I say yesterday, but Tina's asked me not to post this video for 3 days. Apparently something to do with YouTube and I don't know, I think she's experimenting with things. But so anyway, you may not see this one for 3 days from the last one released yesterday. But back to the story. Everything's a story. Why not? Stories with new purpose. That's what I mean. Why not? Stories that are purposeful from the perspective of healing and mind training. But I remember going through hundreds of DVDs and videos, and my teacher Greta said to me one day, I was in the library, we used to have 6 or 7 shelves of VHS, and I was looking through the old VHS, which weren't old in those days, for something to watch. And the master teacher, Charles, was quite prolific, a bit like me, you know, making videos all the time, because it's there for posterity. Once you make one, and anyone can tune in and join in with the video from wherever they're at and whatever time zone, timeline, whatever they're in. And because of the nature of the non-linear subject matter of the videos, it's always going to be relevant. Always. And she said to me, she said, you could just watch any of these videos 100 times. You're always going to find something that you didn't find before. Because every instant in healing, the mind is unfolding to the truth of itself more and more and more, becoming more and more closer to revelation readiness. And what was learned yesterday in yesterday's video is already in the past. So part of the mind training, of course, being to stay focused in the here and the now, like that. That person that just had that moment. Part of the mind training, learning to be in the here and the now, designates that whatever was of the past yesterday is immaterial. It doesn't matter. You could have read the whole Course in Miracles yesterday, and it will have changed you to the person or the mind, well, how would I put that? To the self-awareness of yourself that you have today. And then you can read the whole book again, or whatever you read again, exactly the same passage, and it will change you again in another whole different way. And part of your mind, that ego part that likes to blah, 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 will tell you, oh, you read this yesterday. No, you didn't. You've never read it before. You've never listened to one of my videos before, but in your memory, you're telling yourself that you did and that there was a yesterday. And that's how the body is made manifest. That's how the body is projected, by anticipation or memory. It says that in the Course. Jesus says the body is either anticipated or remembered. And it happens at such a rapidity of speed, at the speed of thought, that it's not until you become masterful at meditation, enabling yourself to slow down your thinking, that repetitive thinking to the point where there's nothing there at all, that you realize there is a doorway between this realm and the next. In the Bible, Jesus says, knock and the door shall be opened. And I think that's the most beautiful thing. Beautiful thing I've ever read. And the way that you knock is simply by being still at the door. So in meditation, when you train your mind to be still, and I love towards the end, the 260s or something in the mind training, the lessons, and it says we say God is, and then we cease to speak. So that's ceasing to speak. And we had a bit of a meditation session in our Zoom meeting this last week, and one of the participants did have a direct experience of light during that meditative session, which was lovely. Great to hear it. You know, I love to hear back things like that. And people often tell me, oh, I had a moment of healing while you were saying something or doing something. But in that, the only difference in doing the Zoom meeting is it's kind of fake, like the meditate. It is and it isn't. I mean, it's forced. That's what I mean to say. It's forced because everybody's trying to do something because I'm saying so. And I sit there and I tell people to breathe, to let go of their thoughts, to be in the present, etc. And sort of like a guided meditation. But it's always on the pretext that Dave's saying this, and therefore this is what I'm supposed to do. And which is kind of the opposite of what I teach. You know, like I always teach, don't let something become ritualistic. You don't have to be part of something just because it's happening, and etc., etc. And I understand everybody likes to practice, but I always do advocate for meditation and prayer when you feel drawn to it. You know, when it's natural, when it just comes from the heart. I mean, fine, you have a Zoom, you practice some principles, whatever. Maybe those you can go and practice later on, if there is a later on. In your own clear space, you know. But, I mean, I never know what anything's for, really, but I'm just carrying on a bit. But I do much prefer and give more credence to the idea to feel it in your heart, not just, I don't know. I've seen a lot of meditation groups and been in a lot of meditation groups where half the people in the group weren't at the level, or didn't have the same awareness of what other people in the group were doing. And they just sort of stand there looking around, or sit there looking around, and sort of, you can tell their eyes aren't really closed. They're sort of trying to force something to happen. And it's like, well, that may be very, very entry level, but I always like to present meditation and prayer as your own personal journey, where You don't look around and see what everyone else is doing, because that doesn't make any difference. It makes no difference at all. Looking around trying to copy what others is doing or see what they're doing to see if you're doing it right or not, pointless. You have to find your own way, your own journey, your own heart space with your prayer and your meditation. People outside my little camper. So yesterday's video was primarily about self-sabotage and the idea that the nature of denial may show up for you in your human experience, and will. I mean, the whole thing is denial. But the origins of that package of denial do not originate from time and space. They originate from eternity, which is where the tiny mad idea happened. So when you are asking for healing, you're not asking for healing of the symptoms of time and space. You're asking for the healing of that tiny mad idea that still seems to be having some sort of an effect on you from eternity. Right? Otherwise, all you're doing is trying to heal effects down here. It's much like a doctor prescribing pills for something. It's like, well, that may stop the effects, but it doesn't address the cause. So when you become miracle-minded, you're addressing the cause. I see that I've got problems going on in my life here, reflecting the nature of my belief somewhere that I still think I'm separate from God. But I don't want to heal it down here, because it's just going to show up again. Right? If I try to fix it in the world, it'll just show up again in another cycle. And the ego approves of all that sort of stuff. The ego loves the idea that you can imagine that you're healing something here. Pills and potions and remedies and all that sort of thing. But it just shows up again in another lifetime, in another cycle, whatever that be, in a year, in 10 years, in 100 years, to taunt you all over again in your next incarnation. Whereas when you become miracle-minded, when you learn to defer all your problems to the Holy Spirit, or to the Spirit of love, through prayer of the heart for the healing of the mind that believes it is still separate from God, or is separate from God, then that adjustment or that healing takes place where it has actually occurred, at the cause, which is in my belief that I'm separate from God, which is in eternity. Into eternity, where all is one, crept a tiny mad idea at which the Son of God remembered not to laugh. And in his forgetting did the idea, what is it, if I can remember it, did the idea become contemplatable or something, and possible of serious results or something. Anyway, regardless, here we are in the world, but not of it. So, I say so a lot. I say so. I don't really have a subject matter for this video. It's just a general chit-chat if I had a fireside, it would be by the fireside. I just woke up this morning after a night of very vivid, weird dreams, which I have not had for many years. Very, very strange. And healing dreams also. Every night I ask Jesus to use my dreams to try and teach me or heal me or whatever, guide me. The same as I do in the mornings. I give my day to God every morning. Father, today I would have a day of joy and peace and happiness, and a day of forgiveness if I forget that that's the kind of day that I want. And everything falls into alignment with the idea of mind training. You know, you're telling yourself, you're prompting yourself for the kind of day you want, the kind of night you want. You know, Don't let any moment pass you by. Always use it to reconnect, because that's what the mind training is doing. I'm reconnecting with God through Jesus or through Buddha or through Krishna or whatever your chosen link may be. And maybe your prayers are strong enough you don't need a halfway link like that. And Jesus calls himself a halfway link. In the Course, he says, I stand halfway between God and man in case your prayers fail temporarily. And when you're very new to this, of course, when you're new to the spiritual journey, you're just looking at the ideas, really. I can tell you from my own experience, your prayers do fail temporarily. You don't realize that the integrity of the heart is so little and the bullshit of the mind is so much. I remember praying to God for something, I forget what it was, and I remember bargaining, I'll give up alcohol or I'll give up. And I even knew at the time I wasn't going to give up alcohol. I was trying to cheat God. I was being deceptive and lying. I wasn't going to give anything up. I knew that I'd probably give it up for 3 or 4 days and then, sorry, Father, I can't do it. I need more prayers. Any excuse. And you've always got that against you. You've always got your own BS against you, which is why learn to be miracle-minded, not person-minded. Keep your finger on your nose. One of the dreams I had last night, or part of one of the dreams I had last night anyway, was realizing that the images I see around me are not my brothers, which I've had many times. The bodies, the hands, the faces, the feet, the talking, the stories, the relationship links, family, friends, whatever. None of that is real. It's all illusory. It's all virtual. It's all digital. It's all whatever the hell it is. It's all the Maya, the dream. And in my dream, I refused to verify and interact with one of these dream characters, and it was a very profound moment in the dream. There was something that happened, I don't recall it now, something that happened in the dream. Jesus talks about it as the holy instant, when you refuse to adjust to the narrative or to the stories of time and space, and you let yourself undergo that awkward moment of keeping your silence in a place where that other person, I say that very loosely, is waiting for you to respond. And I did have a very profound moment of that yesterday, having lunch. Someone started talking to me from the next table, and I didn't respond. Partly I didn't respond because there was no manners involved, and there was no excuse me or good afternoon or anything like that. It was just outright talking at you rather than, and I put my finger on my nose. And then I think that was what was repeated in the dream. It was quite a profound moment there, and there was a long silence until it became just normal. until it became forgotten or something. Anyway, I don't know that there's much more to say. I do like the idea of talking about the holy instant. I've been told to be still, to be quiet, and I know you guys understand it if I don't make a video for a bit. For the last few weeks, the last 3 weeks perhaps, I've been supposed to be quiet. I'm not a good disciple. Sometimes Jesus tells me things, and no, actually, usually I'm pretty good. Usually, if I hear things, I'll pass the message on, or I'll comply, I'll do whatever. But for some reason, and I think it's just a habit. I think it's fallen into the framework of habitual activity is to make these videos and to be about it. And that's where I was going to go with that other line of thinking that I had earlier, when my teacher Greta said you can watch these videos and they're always brand new. I want to encourage you guys. There's like over 500 videos on my channel now, which is ridiculous. Like, who would have thought, right? 500 videos. There's over 500. I just want to encourage you guys to just pick any one. Pick any video. Try not to get caught up in the idea of it's not really keeping up with the Joneses, but you know, the latest video is going to be the best one, or the next video is going to be the one I need to hear, or any of that sort of stuff. Any non-linear, non-temporal referencing technology, information, whatever that you can watch, read, etc., is going to be helpful to you, because I guarantee you, as soon as you walk out your front door and the first person you see, you're going to have an interaction, you're going to have a relationship, and you're going to forget all about everything I told you. It takes a lot of discipline. It takes a strong mind to set up the day properly, to walk out that front door properly with purpose, single purpose still in mind, with the understanding that today I'm not going to respond, react, or whatever to the figures in my dream. You're going to walk through the world, but be not of the world. And I do enjoy those little moments out there in the show, in the ride. I like Bill Hicks. Bill Hicks says, it's just a ride, man. It's just a ride. Don't take it so seriously. You know? But of course, when you interact with people and they're saying, "Oh, I had an operation, or I had a thing, and I'm sick, and I'm this, and I'm that," and it's like, oh, and it's easy to buy. Oh, you poor thing, and you give sympathy, and you think that that's the right thing to do because that's what everybody does. I don't. I say things like, "I'm sorry that had to happen to you." They go away. They think about, what do you mean it had to happen to me? You know? Well, there's an opportunity for forgiveness. Or sometimes I just say nothing at all. But your mind training has to become part of your existential expression of yourself, part of your basic expression of yourself, and you cannot be concerned what people think, and you will very quickly find that you are on the outside of society. You will very quickly, and that's a good thing, seen rightly, you'll very quickly find that people, because people like to pigeonhole everything, they won't have a pigeonhole for you. A little bit of godliness is okay, my master teacher used to say, but total godliness is unassailable or something. It's not, you know, because the human condition is compromised. The human condition is never wholehearted on anything. You do have rare individuals that put their wholehearted effort into things and blaze the trails for others, etc. But in general, humanity is only really concerned with its comfort and its well-being, and it's not interested particularly in shining the light for others. But for those of us, me and you guys watching this video, who do feel the call to do that, who do feel drawn, I mean, it's not everybody. You got to think of it. It's not everyone in the world is watching these videos. Most people would put on these videos, and unless it's subject matter that they're familiar with, they turn it straight off. I don't want to hear that nonsense. It's what my brother calls it, hippie nonsense. Hippie nonsense. Go and talk to someone else about your hippie nonsense. Well, there's not a great deal of people that are interested in hearing about hippie nonsense. But for those of us that are, we need to make the most of it whilst we have breath. We need to make the most of it and put the total effort in as much as you can. Confront your fears and go beyond them. Confront your fears, forgive yourself for them, and go beyond them. Accept God's forgiveness in place of your own frailty. You're a child of God. Stand up and represent that. You don't need to make an excuse for yourself. You don't need to hold yourself accountable to anyone. And you really need to understand that. It's only arrogance that bows down to the ways of the world. I refuse to bow down to the ways of the world. I live my own life. If I end up in jail or murdered in a ditch or whatever, so be it. At least I lived on my feet. It's one of those sayings you hear when you're a young person and you're trying to work things out. It's better to live on your feet than to die on your knees. Well, you can never die, actually, so what have you got to lose? Just live on your feet. I'm the Holy Son of God, and so are you. I am the Christ, and so are you. I am Krishna, and so are you. If you don't represent it, who's going to? Just remember, all that fear of representing the truth is going to come up in you, but it comes up for healing. Right? It's not brought about by situations and events outside of yourself. It's in you already. It's part of that tiny mad idea in eternity that you're linked to, that you're poisoned by, that you're influenced by, that your best interests are sabotaged by. See yourself as a crusader. See yourself as somebody apart from the world, because you are. You are in the world, but not of it. If you're watching this video, you're in the world already, but not of it. There may be still part of your consciousness trying to cling to an idea of being successful in the world or wanting to accomplish things in the world, but that's not your journey anymore. The fact that you can hear me tell you that means that you're one of my crew. One of Jay's crew. Or if you're Hebrew, Y's crew, Yeshua. Doesn't matter, Jesus doesn't care. He said that's not his real name. It's like Dave's not my real name. I think my parents just made it up. All right, I love you guys. That's about it. I don't know that I'll post this one. I always say that, but I'm supposed to be being still. And all right, take a breath. Feel. How do you feel right now? What are you feeling? Let it be there totally. Let the state of your feeling be total. If you feel good totally and breathe with it. If you feel empty totally and breathe with it. That's it. In and out. It's determination, it's perseverance, it's discipline and devotion. All of these things are part of the spiritual journey. Devotion especially. Let yourself be of service. If somebody asks of you something, say yes. Don't make that a hard, fast rule, but just say yes. Recognize that who is it that asks? If God is everything, it must be God asking through that brother, through that situation. Everything is calling you to awaken. Everything is leading you to your awakening. It's a code. It's a kind of a sequence of things that transpire. One of those things is going to be baptism. Tina, I'm mentioning this again. She has a great resistance to simply being about it. And so be it. Each of us has our packages of resistance. We're here to help each other with that. I don't want to sound like somebody's mother niggling in the background. Don't forget to make your lunch. All right. Peace.